Another Republican has left the House. Let's go through this story and then we'll talk about it. The departure, this is in the Daily Mail. The departure of Congressman Mike Gallagher shaves off another Republican from the already razor-thin GOP House majority, further weakening the GOP's already loose grip on power. With Gallagher's resignation, House Republicans can only afford to lose a single Republican vote to get legislation passed along party lines. If they lose more than a single vote, Republicans will need Democrat support to pass any legislation. As it stands, there's 217 Republicans, 213 Democrats. This means that if two Republicans vote with the Democrats, the vote would be tied at 215-215, which means that the motion fails. Okay. Obviously, we have a Democrat House already, right, Kathy? It's what they just passed. So. They just passed this Ukraine funding, and
exactly.
On the YouTube thumbnail that I have to upload the podcast on YouTube, I put Ukraine $60 billion, $0 America. Right. What's going on in this country right now is some of the worst times that we've experienced, right? We got the border invasion is ongoing, right? Every second of every day, every minute we're speaking during this podcast, God knows how many illegals are coming here, committing all kinds of crime. People are suffering financially for a lot of the things we talk about all the time, mainly due to inflation, but affecting the prices of everything. And then they, last night, they pass and give $60 billion to Ukraine. And, all this talk about getting rid of Mike Johnson as the speaker will give the Democrats the House. They already have it. Doesn't it seem that way? I mean, when they passed this legislation and they started waving those Ukrainian flags on the floor of the House, I've never seen anything like it.
No, it was pretty sickening.
What
was that about, you think?
What it was about is they won the lottery. They all get paid. Their donors get paid. It's an election year. The election's a few months away, and every member of the House of Representatives is up for re-election, and they got paid. They got, and I mean personally too.
Didn't it occur to them that would be a bad look? I mean, you know what I mean? Didn't it occur to them like, how did they think that would look to the American people? Obviously, they thought it would make them look good, but it doesn't. Even Democrats are not happy with it.
Yeah.
You have people that cannot afford food, cannot afford gas, probably more people homeless now than ever.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many homeless people that it's becoming chic. It's becoming a trend of people living in their cars and vans and van life and all this stuff. So I don't understand how they can think that looks good. Are they so in a bubble that they just absolutely have no clue how bad they look? They said, or what is the deal with the flags?
And I don't know if I believe, they said it was only Democrats. Has anyone verified that?
Oh, I'm sure there were some Republicans.
The waving of the flags, the Ukrainian flags, to me, it looks to me like Zelensky has conquered the United States. Like we're the client state of Ukraine.
Well, it seems to me like he's controlling our politicians.
Well, they're stealing money.
They're doing his bidding.
They're getting money they get money for their donors and get money for themselves.
Yeah, there's a big grift. We're the marks.
There's no other explanation for these congressmen to get so excited that they're waving Ukrainian flags. And if we had any reporters in this country, which we really don't anymore, I'd like someone to do an investigative story on how everyone got those flags. Somebody got them and handed them out.
Well, yeah, of course.
And I'd like to know who exactly did that.
I would love to know that. But the reporters think they're all on the side of these people.
You really got to ask yourself, how many of the wars have we been in that were as fake as this? Maybe all of them, right? I mean,
I just don't know.
I don't understand this.
I don't know. I think their thinking with the flags was that they knew that the American people were not going to be happy about this overall because people are struggling financially. So maybe they're thinking, because everything they do is for show.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe their thinking was, well, if we show solidarity here and wave these flags, then we'll convince the American people that this is our American duty to help other people. I don't know. There was a reason behind it. And I think it was a mistake.
Getting paid. Oh, you mean hitting the flags?
No, I'm saying why they waved the flags. I mean, what was the point of that? What, in their mind, what do you think they were trying to do?
In liberal circles, when I see liberals on television and things, they all of them have like Ukrainian flags on their clothes all the time, lapel pins and stuff. So I guess in Democrat circles, this is some great cause. How it used to be AIDS ribbons years ago. Now it's Ukraine flags.
Well, liberals love to feel that they're helping people in their own weird way and that they have power over people. But all they really know how to do is spend money. And you have such a homeless problem here. And the cities are falling apart. I think the country...
Our bridges are falling down.
I think the people in the country just feel very neglected by our representatives that we have elected on both sides.
They don't care about us at all.
No, they don't. And I think people are very upset about it, but they don't seem to be bothered. They don't seem to care. And they just keep doing the same thing and they just won't stop. I mean, they've given them, I don't even know how many billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of our money. And what they do is Russia's the enemy and horrible. I think a lot of it, too, their thinking is they want to keep people thinking that Russia's so bad, then they can push the narrative that Trump is in with Russia and that he's bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. But
somebody put a picture on Twitter of the Statue of Liberty covered in the Ukrainian flag, saying this is our country now belongs to them.
It does, yeah.
And, I think universally, I would love to hear what you guys think. I know most MAGA people aren't happy, but if you're a Democrat and you're listening, what do you think about it?
Now, I want to tell people that if you would like to support this program and all of my content, the best way to do that is to go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and buy something. The spring $25 sale extravaganza continues. It's $25 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, on some of the most popular MyPillow products, including the slippers. Right? And
those used to be like $100.
My slippers, we paid $130 some for them. Now they're $25 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And also, remember, it's free shipping on orders over $75. It's really a time to load up at mypillow.com. And remember, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and you're supporting all of my content as well. All right? Promo code Kane, Kane, at mypillow.com. The $25 spring extravaganza includes a lot of other things too, like the sheets, the towels, many other things. But you can use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, site-wide on all the specials there.
With this sale, you can get like 4 things for the price of what used to be just one thing.
That's right.
And it is amazing that he has slashed so many prices. And I think a lot of it has to do is everything's coming direct from the factory directly to you. So I'm telling you, and don't think the quality has gone down.
It's the same.
It's the same quality stuff, same high quality stuff. So this is a good time to load up because I know with these specials they have, they come and then they go. You don't know when they're going to stop. It's like they announce it. It's like you'll just get an email. Oh, okay, that sale ended. Here's a new sale or this or that. So if you really want to take advantage of, I think this is the best sale they've ever had, ever. With you have $25 for so many things that used to cost a lot more. Like I said, it is springtime. People are doing spring cleaning. It is a really good time to get new linens and do things like that if you want to change the colors of your house, the look of your house. Say you want to update your bathrooms or stuff like that, or your bedroom linens. A great time to do it.
It sure is. Now remember, it's promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. Okay, so one thing I've been saying since all this insane money being sent to Ukraine started is I've been saying that it's hard for me to be concerned about the sovereignty of the Ukrainian border when our country is being invaded and our southern border has been erased. And then this Democrat congressman, Jerry Conley, he's from, I think, Virginia, when the debate was going on over this funding, said, I'm going to play you this comment. This may be the most offensive thing I've ever heard a member of Congress ever say.
Some say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border. It's the border between depraved autocracy and freedom-loving people seeking our democratic way of life. Do we have a stake in that outcome? Yes. Undeniably, yes.
Wow. So the Ukrainian border is our border.
You know, what I don't understand is, okay, you and I watch a lot of old movies, and sometimes in between they'll play those old newsreels that they used to play in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the other day, we were watching an old Sherlock Holmes or something, and I said, you know, I said it would be so cool to go back in time and go to a real movie house in the 30s and see the movie and what it was like, and the newsreels they would show. They would keep you abreast of what was happening during World War II. Okay, so I'm specifically speaking during that time. They would have newsreels before movies. They didn't have TVs.
Yeah.
They would tell you on the radio what was going on.
Well, I still do that. I tell you on the radio.
I'm saying, but the national news and the politicians, you don't know where the money's going.
No.
I don't even see any evidence of a war, hardly at all.
No.
You don't see what's happening. Don't you think that we have a right to know every single thing that's happening with our money and what's happening? If we're so interested in this and it's so important to our country to fund this war,
mm-hmm.
How come nobody's telling us about it?
Exactly.
Why is it so secretive?
It's
not like during World War II where they told you what was happening.
There's no frontline battles being shown. I was watching
You don't see anything.
I was watching last night Pablo from Ukraine, who I tell you guys to watch on YouTube, and he was like painting a house or something with his family. I didn't. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she talked to CNN right after the passage of this outrageous funding to Ukraine, and she put everything together pretty smartly.
No, you said you wait for your constituents, but will you ever?
I mean, given what you said, do Republicans deserve to be in the majority?
That's up to the people, because this is the third betrayal by Mike Johnson. He delivered a two-part omnibus, funded the Department of Justice, 91 federal indictments against President Trump, funded the FBI that raided Mar-a-Lago, gave him a brand new FBI building, funded Joe Biden's open border policies that are killing Americans every single day. Then he reauthorized FISA that spied on American citizens, spied on President Trump's campaign, and he voted against the warrant requirement, the same warrant requirement that he was for 6 months ago. And then he did this bullshit in here on the House floor, foreign war package that does nothing for America. It's unbelievable. I'm thankful that America gets to see who this man is. I'm thankful that America gets to see who the people that voted for this is, because this is the only way it's going to change. People have to see the truth.
Why is this fight against Russia not worth it?
Based on what you
Why is this fight against Russia?
Well, that a guy with a funny accent wanting to be involved in our politics there from the press. Okay. It's not worth it because
we had to bail them out a couple times. So, that good old America.
It's not worth it for a number of reasons. One, it's a fake war that's been created by Washington. As we were talking about, you don't see any fighting. Pablo's doing home renovations. He's flipping houses or something over there. Second, this country is under attack, massive attack, okay, in many different ways, not just the southern border. That's the most obvious one, but China's doing all kinds of things. We're under attack and being invaded right now by more deadly forces that has invaded Russia, and it's all going, and it's larger than the Russian army that's invaded Ukraine. And there's many reasons, but another one is Europe needs to take care of their own business for a change. I mean, we fought 2 world wars over there; they're on their own.
I know. I am so sick of and my family comes from Europe on both sides. My mom's from England, my dad's from Italy. And I love Europeans, don't get me wrong, but I am so sick of them always just assuming that America, all they do is bash us and mock us.
Yeah.
But boy, they want our money. We are paying for this. This is not coming out of some storage facility of gold and money that the government has built up on their own. They don't produce anything. This is our money that's being sent over there. We're helping everybody. And now we're funding this. We're sending money over to the Middle East. And soon China's going to go after Taiwan. We're going to have to send them money. Biden will be funding, if he stays in office, 3 conflicts, 3 that we will be paying for, that we should not be involved with. But there's this whole thing now that we're supposed to stop these supposed dictators where there's no evidence of anything happening. As far as I'm concerned, the Ukraine and Russia thing is a civil war. It's their freaking problem. Okay? This whole idea they've sold people, and Steve Kane falls into this trap that Putin's going to be like Hitler and take over Europe and then Poland, and then that's not going to happen. Okay? He's just trying to bring Russia back together to the way it was, the way he wants it. That's his business and that's their business. It's not our business. And I think it's ridiculous that this reporter from England just thinks that we should just cough up all our money again, over and over and over again. How much money have we spent on European wars in the last 100 since 19
more than can be accounted. More than can be, and plus
in the last 110 years,
plus all the Americans who died.
Yeah, the lives that it's cost and the money. It's insanity.
Well, here's the thing. The one guy said to Marjorie Taylor Greene, do the Republicans deserve the majority? No, they don't. They don't.
They don't. And it's like they're not even there.
Yeah, they might as well not be there.
It's made zero difference.
This Ukraine funding is a big deal with conservative voters. People don't support it.
Here's what's really scary.
If they would have said, this is the kind of deal that the Republicans, if Mike Johnson made this, people would accept. We only control the House. We don't control, obviously, the Senate or the White House. So we really can't pass legislation because we don't control the White House. We don't control the Senate. We can't get legislation really fulfilled. You have to make compromises with the Democrats. So here's the kind of thing you do. Okay. And by the way they pass this, Trump can't stop it because it's law. He won't be able to stop it when he comes back, this funding. The way you do it is this. You say, okay, if the Republicans really want to do something to help this country, but they don't, they would say, okay, we'll vote to pass this Ukraine funding, but in exchange for that, you have to do the following. And then you give them a list. One, and Marjorie Taylor Greene right there, shut down the lawfare against Trump at the Justice Department, right? Number 2, stop all of the illegal immigration into this country.
I would say close the border. Close the border and you got your money.
You do all those things and you get the Ukraine money. But they didn't do that. They gave the Democrats everything they wanted because the Republican establishment wanted it too. That's the big secret. And they got nothing in exchange for it.
We always get screwed.
So if Mike Johnson came out and said, hey, we got them to shut down the border, they're going to finish the wall and stop these federal lawfare cases against Trump, and in exchange for that, we gave them this $60 billion for Ukraine, Republican voters would be happy with that. And we'd be like, we got something, but we got nothing.
What is scary to me is that once that all this is happening and that the politicians literally don't care, but also that there are so many people on social media that still hate Trump and love Biden. I don't understand it. They support it. They don't see it. And what's frightening to me is if Trump does not win, God forbid, we will have zero power because Trump will not have the same power. He will not be able to hold over these politicians' heads. Well, I'm not going to endorse you, and if I become president, I'm not going to work with you. He's not going to run again. That's it. So that is what scares me is what's going to happen if he does not win. It is going to be, like I said, I think China is waiting until the election before they do anything with Taiwan. And if Biden wins, they're going to move right in. And then who else is going to move into where? What other dictators are there that are going to take over other countries? They're going to bankrupt us, which is they all want to do.
Yeah, and
even in Europe, they want to do it. They all hate. Everybody hates us now.
And then after they pass this funding, Zelensky thanks them, and they're like grateful that he thanked them.
There's nobody standing up, just Marjorie Taylor Greene, and even Trump came out and defended Mike Johnson last week.
No, John.
So I don't understand that.
He's working with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Mike Johnson's on his way. This is what Trump's doing. What Trump's doing is the right thing to do. What's going on right now is that it's now 60-40 in favor of the Democrats retaking the House before the election. This Ukraine funding with giving nothing to the country is a big problem. It's going to get really heated this week. And Trump—
What do you mean 60-40?
60-40, 60%, 40% against. It's 60% chance after this funding yesterday that the Democrats are going to take over the House.
Why?
Because there's going to be—
Oh, you mean before the election?
There's going to be a recall vote again on the speaker. It's going to be a disaster.
Ugh.
And some people keep saying, well, they're going to need some Democrats to back Mike Johnson. It could go the other way. A couple Republicans could vote for Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, that's who they're really trying to get in. Is Hakeem.
And what Trump's been doing is very smart. And what he's been doing is kind of staying out of it to a certain extent, letting Marjorie Taylor Greene be his conduit, because he doesn't want to get blamed for the Democrats taking over the House just a couple months before the election. Okay, so he's got to do what it is he's doing. Now, we're going to take our first break. Don't go anywhere. We've just started. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
The must-read book from Secrets of Health that explores the complexities of the battle against cancer is now available on Amazon. Defeat Cancer Now, unveiling insights on cancer, children, and beyond. This groundbreaking book reveals chilling insights that will change the way you perceive this relentless disease. It's a profound journey into the world of children and beyond. With captivating parables, each one a mysterious key, you'll uncover hidden truths and find hope in the face of life's toughest challenges. Defeat Cancer Now will guide you towards clarity and understanding, offering a beacon of light in the darkness of uncertainty. This book is a great addition to your book club as well as support groups. Defeat Cancer Now, unveiling insights on cancer, children, and beyond is a transformative experience. Order your copy right now on Amazon, available in Kindle and paperback, and start your journey towards healing and hope. Defeat Cancer Now, unveiling insights on cancer, children, and beyond on Amazon. Parents, grandparents, and teachers, enter a world of love and hope with your little ones in the book from author Memi Sira Haidara, The Brightest Star in the Sky. When you read The Brightest Star in the Sky, you'll join Mara, KJ, and King on a heartwarming journey guided by their mother's wisdom and the mysteries of the night sky. Inspired by the author's personal experiences, this tender tale gently explores the theme of coping with difficult emotions, offering young readers a message of comfort and resilience. As the siblings gaze at the twinkling stars, they discover the brightest star, a symbol of everlasting love and connection. Through gentle moments and heartfelt conversations, they learn that love never fades, even when someone they care about is no longer with them. The Brightest Star in the Sky is written with care and sensitivity. It's a touching tribute to love, loss, and the enduring bonds of family. Order your copy right now on Amazon. The Brightest Star in the Sky, from author Memi Sira Haidara, and find solace in the comforting embrace of the brightest star. From author J. Scott Crossan comes a powerful, must-read book that shares the truth about diabetes. Later, I Learned, A Journey Through Life with Diabetes, available on Amazon. This powerful memoir covers over 60 years of struggles and victories managing diabetes, from demanding sports to navigating the business world. In this honest and raw account, the author shares the physiological, psychological, and social impact of living with diabetes. The author reveals the reasons behind the lack of a complete cure for diabetes and the profit-driven motives of the medical establishment. Order your copy of this thought-provoking and deeply insightful memoir. Later, I Learned, A Journey Through Life with Diabetes, from author J. Scott Crossan on Amazon. Men, are you tired of looking tired? You can turn your tired eyes into a vibrant and refreshed look with a specially formulated under-eye cream for men at Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. This anti-aging formula is designed to repair and protect your eyes against the common signs of aging. Dark circles, puffiness, and those pesky crow's feet, gone. With Meditati, you'll say goodbye to those tired eyes and hello to a youthful appearance. It's packed with peptides, vitamin vitamin C, jojoba oil, green tea, CoQ10, and other essential ingredients. This formula will keep your under eyes bright and refreshed. It also keeps your skin hydrated with the highest quality natural and organic ingredients. It's crafted by skincare experts, and this non-greasy, lightweight formula absorbs quickly and efficiently, nourishing the skin around your eyes. So if you're tired of puffiness and wrinkles, go right now to Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. Don't miss out on this chance to give your eyes the care they deserve, because you and your eyes deserve it. Amazon.com/shops/Meditati.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
We are back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Okay, so it's really at some point, Bill Maher is almost become a Republican. I know not on everything, but on a lot of things. And I want to play some of this. He was talking about this new documentary, Quiet on the Set, which we watched. It's about the child molesters at Nickelodeon, right? The pedos at Nickelodeon. And it's very disturbing. And we watched it because all these shows where child actors were being abused were shows that we watched with our daughter when she was growing up.
Yeah. In the early 2000s.
So all these kids that are now grown-up adults talking about how they were victimized by these pervs on these Nickelodeon shows. We watched all these kids on all their shows, so it's pretty upsetting. So Bill Maher talked about this on his show, and it relates to what's going on now in this country with all the trans stuff and everything. Let me share this with you.
And finally, new rule. As one of the few people in the public eye who's gone through life and never had kids, someone has to tell me, why am I always having to defend them? I don't even like kids.
Well, okay. The reason he's the one that's got to defend them is because no other Democrat is. All the
those are all his friends.
Yeah, all the Democrats in the media and Hollywood are attacking kids all the time at every level. He's the only Democrat when it comes to some things has any common sense.
But I also think it's every adult's job to protect them. Have you all been watching the Max documentary called Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV? OMG. Nickelodeon, it wasn't a studio, it was Neverland Ranch.
I messed up the line, so let me rewind it there. Hold on, guys.
And finally, new rule. As one of the few people in the public eye who's gone through life and never had kids, someone has to tell me, why am I always having to defend them? I don't even like kids. But I also think it's every adult's job to protect them. Have you all been watching the Max documentary called Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV? OMG. Nickelodeon, it wasn't a studio, it was Neverland Ranch with craft services. It is just scene after scene, clip after clip of the child stars of their day being subjected to obviously inappropriate, highly sexualized degradation.
Okay. He goes on and he starts talking about DeSantis in Florida, okay? And let me just read some of this article. It's in Mediaite about that thing. It says, Bill Maher Friday said that Ron DeSantis wasn't wrong when he spoke up about Disney sexualizing children and that liberals were willing to overlook that and worse because it was a Republican who called it out. In the wake of the Quiet on the Set documentary, Bill Maher tore into the woke views on children and what is appropriate, calling out Disney, Nickelodeon, and more in his New Rules segment on HBO. The documentary is an expose on sexualization, abuse, and it's hardcore sexual abuse and molestation and with some of them. And you know, he said that it's not just Nickelodeon, but of course it's everywhere else that has, you know, kids working in them in Disney.
Right.
And I remember when I was a kid, and I don't remember specifically whoever said this to me, but I remember adults saying when I was a kid that when you go to like amusement parks and there's characters, and this isn't just Disney because there's state fairs and stuff too. When you go to any place where there's children and people are working there, in particular inside the costumes, that a lot of them are like pedophiles and stuff, and to watch out for them. I remember hearing people say that when I was a kid.
Well, pedophiles are going to want to work where the kids are.
Well, I'll tell you,
that's what they're attracted to.
That's right. That's where they go. It's and Bill Maher even went on to say it's like that old line, why'd you rob the banks? And it's because that's where the money is.
Exactly.
That's how it is with these pedos. And I tell you, there's something that yesterday. Yeah, those of you that watch on my other YouTube channel, the Main Street Moments channel, where I vlog. By the way, you guys should all subscribe to that channel, Main Street Moments on YouTube. It's our other YouTube channel, and I do a lot of vlogging there, things that don't fit with what goes into this show. And yesterday I went to a car show, which was pretty cool. I got to see Burt Reynolds' personal Trans Am. It was pretty amazing. But they, a lot of these events, I've been going to this place for a long time. It's the South Florida Fairgrounds in Palm Beach, and it is 5 minutes away from the airport where Trump's plane is parked, and it's about 10 to 15 minutes away from Mar-a-Lago, due west of it. It's the South Florida Fairgrounds in Palm Beach, and I go there for events all the time. That RV show that I blogged on YouTube about was there. Go there for the state fair. I've been going there with my daughters, and she was little guys. And right across the street, I was trying to show this on my vlog the last 2 times, but I haven't been able to get there. They've had it blocked off where you can't stop your car to get a picture of this. Right next to the fair, and when I mean right next to the fair where I was at for the car show yesterday, I'm talking about 20 feet. 20 feet. They have a small county jail, and there's a big sign that says sexual predators this way. And I guess sexual predators show up here. I don't know if for something to do with their sentencing. And they have this jail. And I'm thinking to myself, why are they having the sexual predators come to a place that's 20 feet away from the state fair?
Yeah.
First off, being that close to the state fair probably violates all the restraining orders against them because they can't be within a certain,
I would think,
mileage. But it's also, that's where they want to be, the fair with the little kids. It seems so strange. So the last couple of times that I've gone there, I've made YouTube videos, and I've been trying to get this sign on video to show you guys. And they've had police directing traffic so you can't stop to get the picture or video of the sign because it's the way it is on an angle. I will eventually get it. But it's very inappropriate. I can't believe they have this next to the fair. But when it comes to like fairs and carnivals and stuff, because fairs and carnivals, which are the same thing, they're traveling. And we always have heard stories. All of us have heard stories about carnies. Don't trust these people. People that want to harm children go to places where there's children. Why do you think there's so many teachers that get arrested for having sex with children? Like there was a female teacher got arrested. She was having sex with a male student in a car. There were like 2 women teachers this week that got arrested.
There's a lot of ways to sexualize children without actually having sex with children.
Yes.
And all of it's bad. And I think that's what Bill Maher's talking about. And the point he made further in that segment was, and it's very true, is he said everything is so tribal now that people will defend the opposite opinion because somebody on the other political side said the opposite, so they'll defend the opposite position no matter what. So because Ron DeSantis calls out pedophiles, all the liberals go to defend Disney and defend the pedophiles. And he said that's just crazy. And that's the way things are. They're so tribal now. But you know what? I think it's always been like that with politics. That's one of the things I hate about politics is it gets so divisive that people won't even like call out the truth. It's like it's their truth. Well, if Trump says it, that's why I think things have gone so radical, because I think a lot of what's happening with the left is they're reacting to Trump. Everything he says, they have to be against in their mind. So if he says we got to drill our own oil, nope, that's not good.
That's a bad idea.
If he says we have to have manufacturing in the country, nope, that's a bad idea. If he says, we have to stop sex trafficking and this, oh no, that's not happening. That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not. Even if he says things that make total sense and need to happen, because they hate him so much, they're going to talk against it and work against it. And that happens on both sides, more with the left than with the right, I think. I think the left do it a lot more. But Bill Maher's right about that. It's very tribal, and people are so hell-bent, it's so black and white on defending their political party that they no longer see what's really going on.
What's happened with...
They won't come together on those
What's
things.
happened with what's going on here, okay, with Nickelodeon and Disney, because remember this thing with Disney happened with... What happened with DeSantis and Disney, because I think a lot of people have forgotten, there was a Zoom meeting between the Disney executive in charge of their animation division and her staff, and that Zoom meeting got leaked out. And they were talking about a lot of inappropriate things that they put in the background of their movies.
And the gay agenda.
And the head of that department, the executive at Disney, had 2 kids, all under the age of like 15, like 12, that were different genders and stuff. So she was putting this gender stuff in Disney programming to kind of make herself feel like she's a great parent.
Well, to normalize everything.
And when that Zoom meeting got leaked out through libs of TikTok, that's when DeSantis got involved and this whole thing. So what's happened is this, in my opinion, these pedophiles have, gays and pedophiles are not the same thing, okay? And gay rights have been 100% achieved. Everything the most radical gay activist had ever fought for, they have now.
Yeah, they can get married. They can adopt children now.
Everybody's out and all this stuff. So
back in the 80s and 90s, they could not do that. And in fact, we just watched the movie Clue last night. And Michael McKean's character was gay, and he worked for the government. He had to keep it secret or he'd get fired. He said he'd lose his security clearance, and it really was like that.
So what's happened is this, okay? Since gays have achieved everything that they were activating for, these pedophiles have passed themselves off as gay, right? Through all this gendering and misgendering and kids are this and kids are that. Yeah. And they've wormed their way in using gay rights, and they're not gay, and they're not, they're not gay some of them may be, but what I'm saying is gay rights is and the gays are not the same as these guys.
They put themselves under that umbrella.
They're hiding under the gay umbrella, yes. And because of that, it's politically incorrect to stand, because if you stand up against them, you're a homophobe, you're a transphobe, you're something phobe.
That's right.
And this thing with...
I've actually seen liberal people in positions of leadership, women too, talk about almost as if it's normal for somebody to be attracted to a child, that's just another type of attraction.
They're crazy.
They're trying to normalize. If that ever happens, where our society, and I don't think it ever will, but I think it's like probably that and maybe incest is probably the 2 last taboos left.
That's incest is the last taboo.
And pedophilia.
Yeah.
If those 2 go away, our society's done. I mean, we might as well be like the Romans. Of course, they were very intelligent, but they had no morals. But they're trying to normalize these things, and you have to wonder the reason they're normalizing these things is usually because they have proclivities, or they have people in their family that have those proclivities. There's a reason for it.
It's also not just these pedo pervs are using gays to hide, and they're hiding among gay activists. The other ones are these creepy guys. I saw a video online yesterday of a man, obviously a man. He put on a couple of women's clothes and was in the ladies' room, and a woman chased him out and was following him. You may have seen this, and she's like, "You're a man. What are you doing in there?" There was an incident.
Yeah, now the perverts go in there.
There was an instance at that we talked about a few weeks ago at the Planet Fitness in Alaska, where there's a guy using the ladies' shower, So and there are these guys that used to get arrested for being peeping toms.
Yeah, now it's okay.
They've used this. They've used gay and trans as a way to get into places where they would get arrested for getting in before. Now,
very true.
And no one stands up to these people
because then they'll say you're a bigot.
That's right. You're a transphobe. You're a homophobe. This woman in Alaska, I played the audio of the news story and everything on the program. She goes into the shower locker room at Planet Fitness at Alaska, and there was a man in there undressing, watching all the women, and there were young girls in there.
Well,
and she went and reported it.
That's right.
And she said there's a man, and the Planet Fitness managers canceled her membership.
That's right.
Because she reported a man in the ladies' room.
I remember that.
It was just a few weeks ago.
The only thing you can do to fight that is to cancel your Planet Fitness membership. And that is something that definitely deserves to be boycotted because they are doubling down on that. And they're to me, that is somebody that is ultra liberal or in that trans community that is running that company.
See, these
is crazy.
Most of these trans people, the ones that are adults, are perverts that are using it to be peeping toms.
What about that teacher at my cousin's school, Trafalgar in Canada? It is a very fancy school. My cousins went there, and I think it's called Trafalgar, but it's a girls' school, and it's a private school. That's where they filmed Mona Lisa Smile and all that. It's my two cousins went there, and they had that teacher with the big fake breasts that were like size Z with the big nipples teaching class. They finally fired him, but they defended that guy. He's a pervert. He's a creep.
A lot of people said that he did that because he was afraid of getting fired, so he went to this trans thing. The first time I heard about this at a level where the establishment was accepting it is, remember the father that got beaten up at the school board meeting a couple years ago? His teenage daughter got raped in the girls' room at school by a boy who said he was a she, and he was and he raped his daughter. And the school did nothing about it because they thought it would hurt trans rights.
There is now a severe backlash. There was just on the news a protest by students at this school. There were like 75 students that came out and protested something similar because something like this was going on. The students are fed up, and they are fed up with the teachers. They're not protecting them. And this is what's going on in the country, just on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
You have the government and the people in power are protecting and helping the wrong people. They're helping criminals instead of tax-paying, law-abiding citizens, and the schools are not protecting the kids. I mean, I will tell you, schools, I've always been run by liberals, and Brian and I went to public school. I used to teach public school. They do very little about bullying.
No.
Very, very little. It's always been a problem. But now it's even worse. Now they have kids that are ganging up on other kids and killing them, beating them literally to death. And the teachers do nothing. The schools do nothing. What about that kid that shot up Parkland? They knew about that kid, Nicholas Cruz, for years. The teachers knew. They just pushed him through the system to get him out of the school. Look what happened there. This is what's going on. They don't protect the kids. I don't understand the liberal mindset. I never will. I don't understand why they protect criminals, illegals, and people that are creeps. But law-abiding American citizens, they don't do anything.
Well,
that pay their salary. I don't get it.
They're all on different things. But the thing about the trans thing, what's happened with the Democrats, it's like Nickelodeon. They've been infiltrated by a bunch of creeps, okay? And they've been these creepers have been successful in selling the idea to liberals that trans and all this gender stuff is part of gay rights.
Yes.
And the gay and the gay rights activist groups who have accomplished everything they've wanted to accomplish and more. These are big organizations where people get paid a lot of money. They don't want the organizations to fade away, so they've embraced all this trans stuff.
I think they're afraid too.
You know, like I was in shock that Leah Thompson, that whole thing with the swimming, and I've heard some of the girl swimmers talk about it after they're out of school, is Leah Thompson would walk around completely butt naked, full penis and everything around the girls' locker room.
Yeah,
and
he's
parade
like a
around the locker
flasher.
room. If that's not flashing, I don't know what is.
That's exactly that happened to your mother. You told me your mom had,
and me when I was a
and
little
you,
boy.
when you were little, that there was a flasher.
In a
that
parking
used to
lot.
be a crime.
The guy, yeah.
Now it's totally. I mean, this is what liberals
Now you just say you
do.
identify as a female,
Yeah,
and
they
you're
normalize criminal behavior, and I don't understand.
It's flashing.
They're trying to normalize illegals and normalize and justify what liberals are just evil. They're just evil
they're
freaking people.
psychopaths.
They're just evil people.
Yeah. Now, if you would like to support the show and become a Patreon supporter, there's a link to our Patreon page in the description of this and every episode. You may have to copy and paste it depending on the platform. You go to our Patreon page. It'll walk you through. And when you become a Patreon supporter, of course, you're supporting the program, and we thank you for that. But there's also benefits and perks. You get commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes. Kathy and I post a lot of exclusive content up there, and you're able to communicate with us more directly than you are normally. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. So the names you'll hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, and Brandon. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. We'll be right back.
Are you and your family prepared for the unthinkable? Picture this nightmare scenario where a nuclear catastrophe suddenly strikes. It'll alter life as we know it in an instant. But there's a guide designed to not only arm you with the necessary survival skills, but also to ignite within you the resilience you will need to flourish in a post-apocalyptic era. After the Meltdown, from author Jordan Mitchell on Amazon. After the Meltdown, from author Jordan Mitchell, is a comprehensive wilderness survival guide that is your key to thriving in the face of adversity. In this must-read book, you'll learn how to secure water, food, and shelter in the harshest of environments. Gain practical advice from real-life stories of resilience that will guide you through the toughest situations. Learn how to overcome physical and mental challenges with resilience and ingenuity. Rebuild communities and foster sustainable living. Preserve the environment for future generations, as well as find hope and purpose in even the darkest of times. Don't wait until it's too late. Order your copy of After the Meltdown from author Jordan Mitchell, available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited, and face your future with confidence. After the Meltdown from author Jordan Mitchell, your ultimate survival companion on Amazon. Are you in need of a little encouragement? Are you searching for a spark of intrigue? Could you use a good laugh? Then check out Genesis-Revelation.life. Genesis-Revelation.life is your go-to destination for unique and heartfelt designs that resonate with your spirit. Picture this: thousands of meticulously crafted items, each one with a personal touch, from the whimsical to the profound. The designs at Genesis-Revelation.life cover a wide spectrum, ensuring there's something for everyone. Whether you're drawn to the warmth of Scripture or prefer non-scripture items, they've got you covered. T-shirts, leggings, totes, headbands, crossbody bags, blankets, journals, napkins, aprons, coasters, drinkware, and that's just the beginning. But what sets Genesis-Revelation.life apart from the rest is simple: a sprinkle of humor, a dash of intrigue, and a layer of comfort. Each design tells a story, seeking to connect with you on a deeper level. In a world that often feels impersonal, Genesis-Revelation.life stands out as a place where every item is designed with heart and soul. Tell your story with these unique designs. Shop now and let your spirit shine. And make sure to share the store on all your social media so your friends can discover Genesis-Revelation.life too. Genesis-Revelation.life, where every design is a connection waiting to happen. Start shopping right now. Genesis-Revelation.life. You've heard stories of toxic, abusive relationships. Author Perpetual Survivor survived one and shares his story of his abusive marriage to a narcissist in his memoir, Surviving Blake, based on a true story. Available right now on Amazon. With unflinching honesty, the author exposes the raw reality of abuse at the hands of a narcissistic psychopath, a professional interrogator who's skilled in the art of manipulation. Author Perpetual Survivor met Blake on a dating app Blake was a 25-year-old Army veteran. Perpetual Survivor was a 25-year-old computer programmer with a black belt. He moved to a new city and married Blake, but by the time he learned that breaking a vow could get you killed, it was almost too late. Surviving Blake is a story about survival that reveals chilling encounters with death and shedding light on the mysterious circumstances surrounding Blake's untimely demise. It also shares the author's life after trauma and offers insights into the resilience of the human spirit. Order your copy of Surviving Blake, based on a true story from author Perpetual Survivor, on Amazon, available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. This book is perfect for your book club. Surviving Blake, based on a true story, on Amazon. Attention all seekers of inner peace and adventurers of the mind. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Introducing the Mental Activity Workbook that will revolutionize the way you approach mental wellness. With the Mental Activity Workbook, you'll discover a world of mindfulness exercises and self-reflection prompts that will help empower you to overcome life's challenges and thrive in every moment. The Mental Activity Workbook is now available on Amazon. Order your copy today and embark on a journey towards clarity, resilience, and true happiness. And get ready to dive into an epic adventure like never before. Coming soon, the most anticipated video game of the year that supports mental wellness. Don't miss out on the excitement. Follow on YouTube and TikTok at Mindful Balance Works and online at mindfulbalanceworks.com. Don't miss out on the excitement. Order your copy of the Mental Activity Workbook today on Amazon and stay tuned for the adventure of a lifetime.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. I just was looking at the Drudge Report, and one of the big stories on Drudge Report is Robert Kennedy's hurting Trump more than Biden. Mm-hmm. How do they figure that? He's a Democrat. The votes that he's going to peel away, which won't be many, but the ones he peels away will be Democrats that, like Bill Maher, are like sickened and they can't by what's going on, and they can't get themselves to vote Republican, so they'll vote for Robert Kennedy.
Honestly,
he's not going to get many votes.
I think it can go either way. I think there are people that supported Trump that don't support him anymore. It's hard to imagine, but there are people.
I can't imagine.
They don't want to vote for Biden, so they're going to vote for him.
I don't agree with you on that.
In my opinion, I can't predict which way it's going to go on this. I could see it hurting either one or both. Not a lot. I don't think it's enough to make a difference, but I'm not sure which way it'll swing right now.
The only thing he has that some people that might vote for Trump would vote for him is he talks a lot about Fauci and stuff.
Yeah.
And some people that's like their only issue, they might, but it's not that many people. Overall, he's not going to get many votes. But the few votes that he does get will mostly be Democrats.
But why do you think in this poll, they took a poll, why do you think people assume it's going to hurt Trump more?
Because liberals are just trying misinformation. They couldn't get him out. Robert Kennedy got that tech executive to join the campaign. She's been pouring money into the campaign.
Yeah.
So it's not fading away. So they're just trying to get a narrative going that he's a MAGA guy to try to stop more Democrats from voting for him, because they know a lot of Democrats will vote for him. People like him because of his dad and his uncle, more than any of the other living Kennedys. And they're worried about it. I was just reading this article. Kathy and I like Chipotle, and we used to eat there a lot, but we don't eat there so much anymore, as very little. They just raised their prices again. Do you know that they've raised their prices 6 times since 2021?
I remember when they first opened, Emily was the first one that opened here. Emily was like 11 or 12, and she and I would go there all the time, and then you started going there. We went like 3 times a week. We loved it, and the 3 of us could eat there for like $40. Now, and then you and I would go, just like you said, in 2021, and we could eat, the 2 of us, for $30, $32. Now, when you and I eat there together, it's $50. I mean, it's definitely going up. So yeah, we do eat there less.
A lot less.
And I do love the food though.
I don't like it as much as I used to.
I think it's the money
because of the prices.
Yeah, I think that's kind of soured you on Chipotle.
It has.
Because that was like your favorite place to eat.
It really has spoiled the taste. And
so what are they raising?
They're raising the prices overall another 1% but it's like 6 times. I don't know if this is the 6th or the 7th time. And a lot of times what happens is companies, when they see an opportunity, a lot of the prices that have gone up are, of course, inflation. But some companies continue to raise their prices because of inflation. They think they can get away with it.
Well, that's what Biden calls price gouging. He says that's what they're doing.
It's not price gouging, but I don't think they need to raise their prices again. I know inflation's bad, but they don't seem to care about their business. The thing about Chipotle is,
why do you think they need to raise? I think it has like a ripple effect, and like you said, it's like once things start to go up, then it's everything starts to go up. You know what I mean? It's like all things being equal. And I know I'm in this one group on Facebook. It's QVC. It's a QVC group, but it's people who like bash QVC because I like QVC, but there's things I don't like. And all they complain about is how the prices have gone up on everything.
Oh, yeah.
And QVC is in trouble. Their company had a loss last year, and they fired 400 employees in February, including longtime hosts. And it was because they're doing so poorly. And to me, the answer to that is not to raise your prices. I don't know. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me. And now everything's so much more expensive. These people are all complaining. It's everywhere.
Chipotle, we used to eat there probably 3 times a week, maybe 4 sometimes, but about 3 times a week. And I like it because it tastes good. Now it's
very good.
Full disclosure, okay, I always get the extra steak, so that does increase the price of the bowl a little bit. But my big meal of the day is lunch because of my weird schedule, and I make a big meal, and I like to have the steak. So ours may be a little more expensive than a lot of people's because I get the extra steak, but the prices get out of control so much, and they raise the prices. Not only do we not go 3 times a week, sometimes we don't go at all during an entire week. And we used to eat there quite
now we go maybe
regularly.
3 times a month.
Yeah.
If that.
Because it's so much
But
money.
Everything's more money now. People are complaining. We don't eat at McDonald's too much. But once in a while, you got to get
they have great
quarter
Coke and
pounder
fries.
and they have the best soda and fries. But a lot of young people are complaining. Somebody went to another burger place the other day. What was it? In-N-Out Burger, and then you had the girl from Whole Foods. But somebody went to In-N-Out Burger and was complaining that they got like a regular meal that normally would be under $10, and it was like $20. It was almost double.
Yeah.
So it can't just be all about the gas, okay? I mean, gas is high, but it's not that high. It's like $3.75. It's been higher. What else is causing this? Is this just, like you said, companies taking advantage of things, which is what Biden is saying? Or what else could be causing this? Is it have to do with the Chinese owning farmland? Is that affecting things?
It's oil.
You think it's
oil.
You think it's strictly
oil. That's the main thing. The main thing is oil.
Yeah, but gas has been higher than it is now.
No, when he shut down so much oil production, and everything else, the price of gas. There's other factors. But
well, there's a lot of Chinese companies that own farmland too. I'm wondering if they're jacking up the prices.
The main cause is gas.
Yeah,
and I got to tell you, last year you guys heard us talk about this. When our daughter moved to California, we were what a lot of they call us empty nesters, right?
Yeah.
What a lot of people do when their kids move out, they sell the house and you move into another house, and that's where you're going to live for the rest of your life. And there's a new community that we like a lot that's here in South Florida. It's a ways from where we live now, and we were gonna go and buy a new house, but the interest rates were so high. I just saw again the interest rates going up again and taxes going up. And we dodged a bullet like nobody's business by staying in the house that we've been in for 20 years now, as opposed to moving. And the reason I share that with you is the increase in prices of everything, the mortgage rates, and there's a couple of things that there. I see the prices in 4 places that hit the hardest: gas prices, food prices. Homeowners insurance has gone up through the roof. Now, a lot of people say, well, I rent. Yeah, but somebody owns the property you live in, right? And
which is going to affect your rent.
And they got to their property insurance goes up. They got to raise the rent to cover that. So that affects
Rents are
everybody.
way up, yep.
And the latest one is auto insurance. So,
you don't even want to know what ours is.
Don't say. I don't want to know.
It's ridiculous.
I really don't want to know. It's not that I don't want the audience to. I don't want to. So, gas, food, housing, and auto insurance.
Which everybody pretty much has to pay for.
These are 4 things you can't avoid. You don't have to go to Chipotle as much, okay?
Yeah.
But you need those 4 things I mentioned, you do need, and you can't avoid them. So some of the heaviest expenses in people's monthly budgets are from things that you can't cut. You can't cut back on auto insurance. You can't.
Well, here's an interesting thing.
And your gas, I mean, you work where you work, you live where you live, you got to buy gas. I mean, it's rough.
You have to have auto insurance. And I think personally, a lot of these companies, same with the pharmaceutical companies, get together and raise the prices, and it's all relative. You know what I mean? You might be able to get, believe me, I went through this phase where I was calling every insurance company to try to get a cheaper price, and they were all the same. It's like they're in cahoots with each other.
And I'll tell you this thing about gas. If you watch my YouTube video yesterday on my other channel, the Main Street Moments channel, where I went to the auto show, I took my Vespa, and I had just under half a tank of gas in the Vespa, and I filled it up. Anytime I get to half a tank, I always fill up the Vespa. And it was just over $5 for over half a tank of gas. That thing gets about 100 miles a gallon.
Yeah, I mean, you've been using it more to save on gas.
The radio station is really far from the house. If the radio station was where it used to be for all those years, I wouldn't even use our cars. I would just get to work and back every day on the Vespa because the gas mileage. But it's a long way to take the Vespa every day, and then I have meetings after and everything else. And the Vespa, I don't ride on the highway. I only ride like by back roads and side roads, and stuff like this. Plus, it's dark in the morning. But I wish I could take the Vespa every day. It would save us a ton of money on gas.
Well, I guess people are going to go back to carpooling like they did in the 70s.
Well, that's what Uber was originally for, that ride sharing. It was to save you money, and if you pick up a couple people on your way to work and the way home, you covered your gas. So I don't know. Maybe
that's what I would do.
Maybe I should become an Uber driver and take people up to live up by the radio station.
Maybe make a couple bucks. But I remember carpooling, they used to call it. Now it's ride sharing, but carpooling was a big thing when we were kids growing up, and under Jimmy Carter, because there was a gas shortage and gas was so expensive and at the time, and people or other periods where it was more expensive or there was a shortage, and people were really into carpooling. That's how they had started the carpooling lanes.
Libs of TikTok is probably one of the most valuable people in this country today. I mean, they've just done so much good work, and they have a new video where they have a teacher who put this video up that's talking about being racist in the classroom. This is a white teacher. He's as white as I am, and he's not one of these Gen Zs. He's got a beard, and there's a lot of gray in it. So
he sounds a little effeminate, though.
Yeah, he's not, one of these Gen Z teachers with the purple
No, he's our
hair.
age, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm not even going to set this up. I'm just going to play it.
Speaks for itself.
You wrote, so if someone that isn't white hates on a white person based on their skin color, what do you call that? You're not going to like my answer. I call it justifiable.
Wow. Okay, now we'll play the rest of it. But he's saying that any racism and discrimination against a white person by a non-white person is justifiable.
Yes.
I don't think that's what Martin Luther King was advocating for.
That's how a lot of these liberals think now.
Yeah, well, this guy is as white as a saltine.
You wrote, so if someone that isn't white hates on a white person based on their skin color, what do you call that? You're not going to like my answer. I call it justifiable. White-bodied people have conquered.
White-bodied people? I've never been described. Have you ever been described as that? White-bodied people?
No.
I mean, I know what that means, but what a strange way to. You know what that's like? That's like what the Nazis did with the Jews. It's the dehumanization of Caucasian people.
Right.
White-bodied people. It's almost like we're soulless.
Human.
We're soulless.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, right. We're like zombies.
You wrote, so if someone that isn't white hates on a white person based on their skin color, what do you call that? You're not going to like my answer. I call it justifiable. White-bodied people have conquered and colonized almost this entire planet. As a history teacher, I teach my students about the scramble for Africa, in which all of these European countries came together to decide which parts of Africa they were going to colonize. And then about the age of exploration, in which Europeans sailed over to the Western Hemisphere and committed genocide against any and every indigenous population they came across. And then I teach about the transatlantic slave trade, and then slavery, and then Jim Crow, and then the war on drugs, and then mass incarceration, and then about people that deny the experience of Black, Brown, Indigenous, and other people of color to this day. So you ask me what I call a person that hates on a white person because they're white? I call them a reasonable human being who's just making decisions based on reason and experience.
Wow.
Boy, his class must be really fun for the white students.
He should be fired, and his teaching credentials should be revoked. And I'm not kidding. You know,
I'd love to know if his partner is white.
Oh, if he's in an interracial problem. Oh, yeah.
I think that might be interesting.
This American teacher who's living on U.S. occupied Native American territory, he should just pack up and go back to Europe, I guess.
And I don't remember mass colonization of Africa.
Well, the Europeans,
maybe South Africa.
The Europeans took it and said, "This is our colonies and stuff." But
so how does he feel about the mass colonization that's happening now on the southern border? We have South America colonizing us.
Who cares what happened hundreds of years ago with these things? You don't hold people accountable today for things of the past.
He would disagree.
Like that none of it. The way the world is today is because all those evil colonizers, their descendants, changed things.
First of all, do you consider I don't know. It's so stupid. This was like 400 or 500 years ago when all this started, people coming here. And, during the Roman period and all this stuff, first, the Vikings were the first ones to come here. But I don't think in ancient times, I don't even know if they knew about this country. Maybe some did, but I don't think the Romans did. Maybe they did. I don't know. But they didn't just decide, like when the Pilgrims came, they didn't come over. They didn't even know how big this country was. They didn't come over like, we're going to conquer this whole land. As far as they knew, it was like a tiny little strip. They didn't know how big it was. They came over for religious freedom. They came over because they were being persecuted.
But you know what, Kathy?
And that was their intention. Now, Cortez came over and destroyed and colonized and all that stuff. And he was Spanish, and he came to South America and did that. This is the way it was back then. There was a race. It's like the space race. There was a race. Once it became common knowledge that there was this land with gold and natural resources and all this stuff they wanted, wood and everything, and all these things they wanted that they could make money off of, sugar, cotton, whatever. Then they started wanting to, that's just what people do, coming over and grabbing the territory.
A couple things, okay? If you notice this idiot and all these other liberals, the only colonization they really worry about is of the area that is the United States. I don't hear them griping about Central or South America or the Caribbean islands.
True.
Or anything.
Those were colonized too.
Because we got all the money. So they hate on America because we've got all the influence and the money. And this teacher,
what
LeeZep TikTok has done really is wake up the country to how radical the school teachers are. And I know that the common thinking is that this is a new thing, that they were not radical in the past. I don't think that's true. I think teachers have been radical since the Vietnam War era, and we just didn't see it. And they're out of the closet now with it.
This guy has an attitude, and let me tell you, I'd have a problem of course, our daughter's biracial, but I would have a problem anyway if I had a kid in this guy's class because he's clearly racist and bigoted against whites. It's ridiculous.
And he's white.
He's white, and I don't understand how he feels that people of today, white-bodied people of today, have any responsibility or why we should be held accountable for things that happened in the 17th century. I mean, the first Europeans came here.
Let me put it in a different way where it doesn't sound okay. Like where it makes. I think it'll make more sense to liberals. What he's doing is holding white people accountable for things that white people did hundreds of years ago. Sometimes it may have been criminal. Many times their alleged crimes.
Well, he wants us to feel really bad about it.
If someone said black people today should be held responsible for all the crimes that are committed by black people today, they'd say that's ridiculous. You're racist. How can you say such a thing? Well, that's what they're saying. This guy's saying about white people.
I saw this girl on TikTok. Her name is I can't remember, Black something. And she was talking. She was responding to this white girl on TikTok. And the white girl was talking about how she lived in New York and she lived in a predominantly black area. I'm assuming it's Harlem, but maybe another area. And how she would walk down the street and the black people would tell her to get out of their neighborhood. She didn't belong there. And she said they were very racist against me. And this black woman explained that there was a word gentrification or something like that.
Spike Lee's obsessed with it.
Yeah. She said, if you are white and you go into a black neighborhood, you know how wrong that is and how you culturally change it and this and that. Well, what happens when black people move into a white neighborhood? That happens too. That's a predominantly white suburban area, and then black families want to move in there, and they do. That's their right to do it. I don't have a problem with it at all. But they might change the neighborhood some way, somehow, in their own way, culturally. That's the way it is. So how come it's okay for them to do it, but we can't live where we want? I mean, it is insane to me how these people think. It's like they want to bring back segregation.
They do.
And there's a real tone of anti-whiteness happening in this country right now. And it's a little frightening, but it's almost like they feel like this guy said that we deserve it.
Yeah.
That it's payback. We have to be punished for all the atrocities. By the way, all the things he mentioned were brought to you by Jim Crow, slave Democrats. But I don't understand why they think that we should have to be punished and why we can't live wherever the hell we want to live.
Well, this video, this just came out.
They're allowed
today.
to live where they want to live.
This video just came out today.
Crazy.
And I hope it goes viral. Okay?
I think it will.
This guy should be fired on the spot. His teaching credentials should be suspended while he undergoes a psychological evaluation and find out where this ideology came from.
A teacher, this guy's middle-aged. He's like at least 45. What would drive a teacher to go on TikTok and say that? I mean, why would he do that?
He's a mental patient. He's a mental patient. Now, I want to tell you guys, don't forget the spring $25 extravaganza continues at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. It will end without notice. And also free shipping on orders $75 or more. And the sale that's going on there right now is involving a lot of the top, most popular MyPillow products, including the sheets, including the towels, and many others. It's promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Take advantage of it while the special is there. We are all out of time for today. I'm Brian, always joined by